Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends series Black Widow's comic accessory figure from Hasbro. This is part of Hasbro's comic accessory line of Marvel Legends figures, which I feel is a little weird. Basically, they've done a couple of waves now with Marvel Legends figures, which have come with these tiny little comic accessories, which are quite cool, but I still don't quite understand what Hasbro were going for with these. The comic accessories are just solid plastic. I can't imagine many people use them in their displays or for dioramas, because, you know, having Black Widow read about herself seems a little weird. And to me, part of me wonders if they're trying to recapture that Toy Biz Marvel Legends where the figures came with a comic book. Maybe they're trying to recapture that idea. I don't know. But I feel like if you're going to go down a comic accessory route, why not actually just include the comic itself, or even have a digital code to be able to download that specific comic on Marvel Unlimited or whatever. I feel that would have been a really good tie-in between Marvel and Hasbro, in a way of getting fans of, you know, especially fans of the MCU who pick up these figures not really knowing about the characters in their comic book form, as a way of introducing them to those comic characters and getting them to be. Otherwise, as it is, the comic accessory, while quite fun, just seems odd and out of place. And it feels like it takes up an accessory spot which could have gone to something else. Though I will say, Black Widow here comes with a whole host of accessories, which is really quite exciting. But we'll look at those in a minute. Anyway, that's my few thoughts on the comic accessory. Let's get down to the actual figure itself. So the figure comes on a action figure retro card back rather than the standard Marvel Legends rectangular packaging. It's on one of those blister packs, so we get a full shot of the figure, the accessories within. We get one of those front tags telling us who the figure is, along with, you know, the bubbles showing what the action feature or the accessory is or whatever. So this one's the comic accessory. We get the name of the figure up in the top corner along with the background, and then we get a sort of pop art style comic look of a couple of comic shots of our specific character in the background there. Coming around, we get our legal and barcode. We get a cross sell of the other figures in the wave. We get a shot of that comic book and a brief bio of the comic in question. Interestingly enough, that was probably the first comic I read which introduced me properly to Captain America and Black Widow. I don't think prior to that I'd ever read a comic with either of those two in it. So having a Black Widow in that appearance is pretty cool, and it's one of my preferred appearances for her. Anyway, let's get this figure opened and take a look at her within. I'm sure I'm committing sacrilege to some collectors out there by the way I'm tearing this figure out of the packaging, but it's all just going to go in the bin. So there we have our comic accessory, which is just done in a solid piece of reasonably bendable plastic. You can see it's done to look a bit like a comic. We get the Marvel Legends series logo on the back, and then we get a printed comic cover. See if I can get this to focus a little bit more, because the detailing, it's not really showing up on the camera, but the detailing of that comic cover is really, really nice. They do a really good job on that, I will admit. There's a nice printed look there. The figure, as I said, comes with a whole host of accessories. So we get splayed hands. We get her gauntlets with a smoke effect to show that she's maybe just blasted them. I really like that translucent plastic, the way it goes into the orange and then up into that black. That's done really, really well. And then we get the same gauntlets, but with the actual blast effects this time, which is done in that orange to yellow. We've seen plenty of times with, say, the Iron Man figures. And then we get the figure herself, and this looks to be a really, really great figure. I love the detailing on this already. Straight off the back, with the back, we get that Black Widow logo coming down. The black trails up the body, so when you've got her posed, it doesn't really break apart. It will obviously break apart when you twist the body, but with figures like this, that can't be helped and it's to be expected. That hair sculpt's really, really nice. Plenty of detail, and there's almost like a pinkish wash and some definite highlights to bring out some real depth and colour to that. They've done a really great job. Love the way it comes down over her face, covering one eye. Never seems practical when you see a female character like that. Like, can they, surely that's blocking half the view, but it always does look so cool and badass. Some really nice head sculpt as well. I really like the serious look on Natasha's face, the red lips, the eyes, all of that looks really, really great. Coming down, we get some silver paint apps for the zip on the suit, which is done really nicely. We get the seam for the suit coming all the way down with a clear. You can see it up where the zip is as well. There's clearly a very small molded detail to show that the zip's hidden by a cover or pieces of fabric hiding the zip. So it's not a case of the paint's been missed. It's actually when she zipped this all the way up, it would be hidden by other pieces of fabric coming over and hiding that zip, which is a really nice touch and really, really great. I love all of the molded detail for the cloth of the clothing and the way it comes down over her body, but then there's clearly a tighter fit on the legs, which seems reasonably natural enough. As for articulation, she has butterfly joints, which don't have the best range of movement, but we do get some there. Her head is on a tilt and a ball joint, so she can look all the way down, look all the way back, full twist. As I said, butterfly clips, and then it's on those peg and swivels. Bicep, double hinge at the elbow, standard peg and swivel at the wrists. We get an ab swivel, which you can feel clicking slightly. It almost felt like it was on a lock joint, but it's really nice and tight and really done. And then she has an ab crunch at the waist. Doesn't come forward all that far. Could have done with it coming forward a little bit more, but you do get some real backward movement there, which seems pretty cool because obviously Natasha's quite an acrobatic character. Legs are standard Marvel fare coming forward, don't really go back. They do come out to the side that far. Calf swivel, double knee, then foot and swivel there. So there we have the figure, and it's an absolutely fantastic figure. I am so glad I caved and picked this one up. Originally, when she was announced, I pre-ordered her and then decided I didn't really need the figure. I'm glad I changed my mind. So as you can see, the arms just peg off, the gauntlets slide off, and then you can slide the blast or the other gauntlet back on. You can change the hands if you want, and you can see that she gets a that is a really nice pose. So yeah, there we have wonder if we can get her in sort of like, say, a Spider-Man crouch. I suppose that hand should come down. Let's put the gauntlet back on. Give her her hand back. Okay. Head. Oh, look at that. Look, that's... Oh, yeah, look at that. And then what we can do is we can then switch that to a blast. Give her... No, I'm even going to give her the splayed hand. There it is. That. There, you can get some really cool, real sort of superhero Black Widow poses there. That's amazing. This figure is absolutely fantastic. I am so glad I got it. I love the figure. Really, some real great posability to her. Great sculpt. Great paint apps. Marvel really went out on this figure. I absolutely love it. Truly a wonderful figure to have, and I would highly recommend this figure whether you're after a Black Widow or not. It's definitely worth adding to the collection. I don't really have any gripes. It's just the only thing I can say is I still just find those comic accessories weird and feel that it's a gimmick that Hasbro and Marvel could have done more with. But the fact is, I'm not going to complain about getting an additional accessory. There we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.